Hi everybody. I wanted to share a video with you about the professional communication field and the writing process. The information that we share in this video should be very helpful to you as you prepare your writing assignments for this class. Let's get started. What is professional communication? Well, for starters, professional communication is also known as technical communication, and it is writing that is informative and or problem solving for a specific audience. Traditionally, technical communication has referred to writing that centered around technology or science or engineering, and it included the production of end-user documents such as manuals, product reviews, or articles for trade publications. Now the definition of professional communication has expanded to include writings in all types of disciplines and for all types of organizations. What is technical writing? In terms of how we define it for this class, technical writing includes all written communication done on the job. Very simple definition. And so when you think of technical writing and some of the things that we will be doing in this class, we're focusing on different types of written communication that you would do in the workplace. Some distinguishing elements of technical writing. Technical writing can be distinguished from other prose by features related to its purpose, the writer, and its readers. Okay, so these are kind of the pillars of technical writing: the purpose, the writer, and its readers. And you'll probably remember in the book from the readings that it referred to the technical triangle. And that includes the informed writer, the practical purpose, okay, and the audience, which would include your readers who all have diverse needs from the product that you will create, okay, or from the document that you will create. All of those things converge, and that is what is technical writing. And so when we talk about the informed writer, you as a student in this class, as an informed writer, you're expected to have some type of knowledge that your audience or that your reader does not have. Okay, that's the purpose of the technical writer, to have that knowledge that the audience will not have. And through the dissemination of that information, you are educating your audience. Okay. Good technical writers. Here are a couple of features, and we'll discuss each of them in detail. Good technical writers use the writing process. Okay, we'll talk about the writing process and the reason that people use the writing process. Good technical writers consider their audience, collect and document information carefully, keep the information short and simple, and avoid jargon. Use organization techniques to improve ease of use of their document, and use active voice in writing. Now let's go through each of these and talk about them in more detail. The writing process. The writing process is simply a method for getting your writing from point A, which is the point of the assignment being given, to point Z, which is the point where you say, this is my best possible work, grade me. Okay, I'm ready to be graded. And so there are 5 main steps in the writing process as I outline them. Depending on who you ask, these steps may differ a little bit, okay, but for the purposes of our class, this is how we will define the writing process. It starts with pre-writing, which is the invention stage. I like to think of pre-writing as casting a wide net. Okay, so you're trying to gather and collect information. If you are given a topic to write about, you're trying to explore that topic. If you're not given a topic, you're trying to figure out, what can I write about to satisfy this assignment. Okay, so in pre-writing, you're just gathering information, you're thinking, you're pulling resources together to figure out what you need to complete this assignment. Once you move to the drafting stage, all of the information that you've gathered that you found useful, you're pulling all of that together into your first attempt at creating the document according to the format that it needs to be in. Okay? You're also making sure that your citations are correct. There's nothing worse than gathering information and not knowing where you got it from, and then not being able to use it because you cannot cite it. And of course, if you cannot properly cite the information that you've gathered from an external source, that borders on plagiarism. Okay, so you wouldn't be able to use it. And so even in the pre-writing phase, if there's an image that you like, for example, and you're creating a PowerPoint, make sure you know where you've gotten that information from so that you can go back and cite it. Or do the citation right then and there if it's something you think you'll use. That third stage is revising. We're taking that draft and we're making it better. Okay, so we're improving the organization of it, we're improving the look of it, we're improving the structure of it, we're improving the flow of it, we're changing sentences around, we're making sure everything that we have in there makes sense. By the time you get to the editing phase, you are making your document correct. Okay? And so I like to think of this phase as you're hiring yourself to be your own editor. You are combing that document and you are looking for every possible error that your instructor may catch. Okay, so you want to submit a document that is as clean as possible. And the last stage is publishing. That's when you finalize the document, you upload it to Campus Cruiser, you submit it, and you are ready to turn in that final document as your graded piece. Okay, so that's the writing process. Also, I will add this, it's perfectly fine to go back to other steps. So it's not linear. It's not that you're necessarily going to go step by step by step in that order. Sometimes you may be at the drafting stage and realize you need to go back to pre-writing and gather more information. All of that is perfectly fine. So don't think of it as solely a linear process. When we talk about audience, we're talking about the people or the populations that will receive your document. Okay? You're talking about who it's intended for. So these are some of the questions to ask yourself when you're considering your audience. Who do you expect to read the document? Why are they interested in the document? Is it something that they need to be able to complete an assignment? Is it information that they need? And how will they view the purpose of the document that you've created? Keep in mind the golden rule in technical writing. Write for your reader and not for yourself. The book refers to this as the cardinal rule in technical writing. Collect and document information carefully. You want to use information from credible sources. Remember, you are the informed writer, and you're only going to be as credible as the sources that you use. I don't allow use of Wikipedia in my class because anyone can contribute to Wikipedia, and the information they contribute may not be accurate information. I've seen it happen before, okay? And so you want to make sure that information that you're using is something that you can stand on and say that this is coming from a reputable publication or a reputable source. I believe that they have gathered correct information, and I believe that I can go and repeat the information that they've given me and use them as a credible source. For the purposes of this class, we use MLA format for documenting and citing work. And there is an MLA formatting and style guide under the bookmarks tab on Campus Cruiser for you to refer to. This comes from the Purdue OWL, the Purdue University Online Writing Lab, and they are an authority on MLA formatting and style and writing in general. And so I use them heavily, and you need to familiarize yourself with that style guide. There's information on that left nav about different types of citations, in-text citations, citing, doing a works cited page for a book or for an electronic source. All of those things are listed there. And then on the right side of the page, the information is separated by headers. So you look for the header that you need to find the information that you need that would give more detail about that particular type of citation. The KISS method is important, and avoiding jargon is important. KISS stands for Keep It Short and Simple. Your reader wants to be able to get in and out of your document as quickly as possible. And so you want to use as few words as possible to communicate your message. And one of the handouts from week 1 talks about improving sentences. And that's essentially taking a sentence that's long, unnecessarily long, and making it shorter so that your reader gets the same understanding with fewer words. Okay? And you want to avoid jargon. Don't ever use words that only people in your field or in your culture will understand. If your readers include people who are not in your field or not in your culture, okay? So we are in the South right now, most of us are at least, and we may understand some things as we would communicate it. But if we're sending a document out, let's say all over the nation, there are other people in the nation who may not understand some of the terminologies that we use. So you want to make sure that you use proper English and that you avoid jargon. Organization techniques is also important, and a good technical writer will follow great organization techniques. You want to keep a couple of things in mind about your readers, okay? Your readers are often interrupted while reading. They are impatient to find important information. They often lack your knowledge of the topic. And the documents they read are often seen by others also. So if we use a manual, for example, if you've ever brought a bookshelf and brought it home, open the box, you'll have some type of a assembly manual with your product. And if you think about it, let's say, for example, I had a bookshelf I was putting together, and I'm looking at the manual, and I have the manual on the floor, and I have all the pieces of the bookshelf on the floor. Well, my 70-year-old mother is looking at that with me as well, trying to help me put it together. And my 7-year-old niece is picking out words that she recognizes in that manual and trying to be helpful also. So you have 3 different populations of audience in that one instance trying to put this bookshelf together, trying to solve the same problem. And so you want to keep in mind that the document that you produce will be seen by multiple people. If you send a memo across your boss's desk, your boss may have several computer screens open when he gets that memo, when she receives that memo. And you want to make sure that you understand that they could be interrupted while reading this. And so you want to make sure that your audience, that your reader can get in and out of your document as quickly as possible. ABC format is going to be very important. We will use this very heavily. Refer to page 26 in the book and familiarize yourself with ABC format. ABC stands for Abstract, Body, and Conclusion, and it includes a summary of the main points, the supporting details that go with the document, and the conclusion that gives the readers what they need to do to act. Okay, so make sure you're very familiar with ABC format. We will be using it for various writing documents in this course. And finally, page design. Page design is essentially the look of the document. You want to use headings and lists and various typefaces to improve the look and flow of information. Okay? If you have a document and you have designed it well, your reader will have a good feeling about engaging with that document. Otherwise, if you give your reader a document that is just full of text and no headings and no lists and no bullet points and everything is just there on the page, the first time your reader looks at that, they may feel a little overwhelmed. They may feel like they have to put a little bit too much energy into reading that document, or it's going to take too long. Okay? But with great page design, you're able to make that document more user-friendly. And it adds to your credibility, because if you produce a well-designed document, they will think that you're organized and that you're able to, through critical thinking, produce what they need in an attractive manner. The Works Cited page will include the book that I've used in referencing different things throughout this PowerPoint, and it's our textbook, The Pfeiffer Pocket Guide to Technical Communication. Hopefully you all have the book and you're able to stay caught up on the readings. And if you have any questions about anything that I've discussed in this PowerPoint, please don't hesitate to contact me. My information is on the member welcome page on Campus Cruiser. Thanks, guys. I'll talk with you again soon.